Hey everyone, this is Michelle with Designs by JuJu, and in today's tutorial, I am going to be showing you how you can embroider on kitchen hand towels. So these are two examples I have today that I have already created. These are both going to be for Christmas gifts. Embroidered hand towels make wonderful gifts not only for Christmas, but for housewarming or if you get a new neighbor. They are perfect. Not only are they relatively inexpensive, but they are so easy and very addictive. So I'm showing you two examples here. The one on the left here is a cardinal, also from Designs by JuJu, and it has an applique design. And on the right, I have the buttercup font here that I used to make a letter F. Like I said, these are both going to be great Christmas gifts. So let's go ahead and get started with our tutorial. I will be using a 6x10 hoop. That's the size that I prefer to use when I do my kitchen hand towels. If your machine does not have the capability for a 6x10 hoop, don't worry, a 5x7 will work also, and even a 4x4. It really just depends on what size you want your design. I just prefer the 6x10 because I can hoop more of my towel. So I have my 6x10 hoop here, and I am actually going to be using some wash away mesh stabilizer. You do not have to use a wash away mesh, but I like the wash away because it leaves a clean backing for your towel, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a bit. My wash away mesh stabilizer is also adhesive back, so I'm going to go ahead and just remove my backing here. Again, you don't have to use an adhesive one, but it just makes securing your kitchen towel so much easier. So I like to hook mine to the back of my hoop, just like that. I press it down, and then I'm going to go ahead and hoop it directly onto the base of my hoop. Now, I know some people cringe when they see you putting a sticky back stabilizer directly onto your hoop. There are tutorials on how to score your sticky back so you don't get that residue on your hoop. Honestly, this sticky back stabilizer does not leave any residue, so I don't mind using it directly, but if you have a problem with that on your own hoops, check out some other tutorials for how you can score and remove that easily. Okay, so I already have my sticky backed wash away mesh stabilizer hooped, and now I'm going to go ahead and get my hoop, or my towel, I should say, prepared for hooping. So let me set this aside so I can show you the process I do for my towel. So I just purchased my towels at a big box store. You can find them anywhere online, but I always look for if there's any tags or hooks, and I want this to be at the bottom. So I fold my towel in half, long like this, hot dog style. And I'm going to press the seams nice and tight, okay? So I've pressed it just so I can see what is going to be the midpoint for my towel. So here's what this is what it looked like. I just folded it over long ways. And now, like I said, this is the midpoint. Here's where it opens. Here's the midpoint. So now I'm going to grab my hoop again, and I'm going to line my towel with the midpoints on my hoop. So you can see on your hoop, you have these midlines right here. So I'm going to line mine directly up with that. And depending where you want your design at, you can have this hang over a little bit on the bottom. I'm just going to line mine up directly along the bottom so that I know that it is centered. And this is where the sticky backed part of the wash away comes in so handy, because now I'm going to just fold it over and press it nice and flat in my hoop. And now my towel is secure to my stabilizer. If you don't have the sticky back, you can definitely use pins. I have used pins many times to secure my towel to my stabilizer, and that works fine as well. So I have just floated my towel on top of my stabilizer. I prefer to float my towel rather than hooping it directly in the hoop, because I find when I hoop it, it tends to stretch out the fibers of the towel, and it's a lot harder to get it centered exactly where I want it. We have 2 blog post tutorials as well on our Designs by JuJu blog that will be linked down in the description box below for you to check out. And they have step-by-step pictures that detail other ways you can do this as well. Okay, so I'm going to turn this so you can see it better. So now what I want to do, my towel has some texture, some nap. Do you see that texture here in my towel? So to help that nap stay nice and flat when I'm stitching, I'm going to add some wash away water soluble topper. So this is what the topper looks like. It's very thin. This is not a stabilizer. It is a true topper that, again, you can purchase at a sewing retailer or online at Amazon. And this is wash away. So any residue that it leaves will also wash away when you wash it, but it tears away super easily. So I'm going to just cut myself a piece that is large enough to cover my towel, my stitch area. And then you could either secure this topper with some tape or some pins. I'm going to secure mine with some pins just so that I know it's not bunching and crunching as I'm stitching. But you do want to secure it in some way because it is very slippery and it will move as it's stitching. Okay, so now that we have our towel prepared, we're going to head over to our embroidery machine. I did want to show you real quickly though why I like the wash away stabilizer best. So this is a towel that I've been using in my kitchen for a long time now. I've had this towel for many years. And it is super cute. It's got Santa. This is the little Christmas peekers from Designs by JuJu, and I just shrunk it down in here. And this is what the back side looks like. So you can see all my stabilizer has washed away. And now it's just a nice clean towel from the front and from the back. And the image has not distorted in any way without having that stabilizer. It still looks as good as the day I stitched it, but the back looks so nice. So that's why I like a wash away mesh. And again, you can either use the sticky back wash away mesh or just a regular wash away mesh stabilizer. Either one works. Okay, so let's head over to the embroidery machine and let's get started stitching. Okay, we've made it over to my embroidery machine, and I have my embossed monogram loaded onto my machine. This is a great monogram. If you've never used it, it's awesome on towels. And so I'm going to be using the 6-inch size. It comes in 5 sizes, and I'm going to be using the 6-inch letter M. So I already have that onto my machine. Now I need to decide where I want to place my M at. So I'm going to just position it, and I'm going to be using my design to see where I want it at on my towel, where it's going to stitch at. I think I want it a little bit lower. Let's see. There we go. Okay, then I'm going to make sure that it is not going to hit my pins as it's stitching. So I will go ahead here in just a bit. That's one thing you definitely want to check, is that if you've used pins to secure your design, that they are out of the stitch path, because a pin will break your needle if it hits it. Okay, so the first part that it is going to stitch is an inner motif design. So I know my pins will be out of the way for that first part. So I'm going to leave these bottom 2 secured, and then when I start doing the outer stitching, I will take those off so they do not get bumped. Okay, so we're ready to stitch the inner motif, like I said, and this is why you want to have a water-soluble topper, because with these detailed stitch designs, any of these fibers that are dimensional will peek through your stitches, and it really doesn't look good. It starts to distort the image. And so to have that true design integrity, this is why a water-soluble topper is just great, because it helps to lay that nap, that fabric dimension flat and out of the stitching. And then when you remove it, it looks so good. So I've got my water-soluble on my machine, and now I'm going to go ahead and start stitching the motif, and we will check back in after it is completed. It's quite a long stitch, 19 minutes. Okay, that main motif stitch is complete, and I just wanted to remove my hoop and show you what that looks like. Okay, so see all this beautiful stitching. If I had not put this wash away topper there, those fibers would be peeking through the design and it would distort this motif. So that's why this water soluble topper is just so great, especially for any type of towels or blankets. Okay, so I'm going to load my hoop back onto my machine, and I'm going to finish the remaining stitches. Make sure your hoop is not behind the stitch path. We don't want it, the back side of the hoop, the back side of the towel to get stitched to the front of the towel. So make sure it's out of the way. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and remove this pin and this pin just so that my needle doesn't hit them. I'll probably just put a little bit of paper medical tape down here along the bottom to help hold that topper. Okay, so we're ready to finish up our stitches, and we'll check back in once this is complete. My towel has just finished stitching, so I went ahead and removed my hoop from my machine, and now I'm going to start removing some of this excess water-soluble topper, so you can see how easily it removes. And some of these little pieces, I just use a little tool. You try to be careful though, because you don't want to pull up any of the nap underneath on the blanket. So just be careful. Now, if there are pieces, I'm just going to show you. If there are pieces that maybe you can't get pulled out easily, these ones I could, but I just want to show you an example. You can use a little water bottle and lightly spray, just a little spritz of water, not much. And then use some of that extra water soluble that you've removed. You can lay it on top, push it over those seams, just like this, or over those stitches, and then pull it away, and you can see it will remove those little pieces that are hard to get. So I'm going to do that again, just to show you. Just spray a little bit of water. You don't want too much. I just give one little spritz, and then I can always add more. And then pull. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? So finish up with any of your remaining excess pieces that you need removed, and then we will unhoop our towel. I've just removed my towel from my hoop, and now I'm ready to flip it over and clean up the back. Now you can see I do still have a little bit of water soluble topper here along the edges. I do not stress about that because, like I said, it is wash away. So I know as soon as my recipient uses their towel and washes it, all of that little bit of debris there along the edge is going to wash right away and you'll never see it. I don't usually pre-wash my towels before I give them, but you definitely can if you're worried about that. Okay, so this is what the back side of my towel looks like. And so now I'm going to trim away any loose threads. I like to do this. It's not required, but it really does give the back of your kitchen towel a nice clean look. And especially since all of this stabilizer is going to wash away, you really don't want a bunch of loose threads, the tied off knots just hanging around. So trim those up. And then what I like to do is I like to take my stabilizer. So here's my towel and here's my stabilizer. And I like to fold it forward away from the stabilizer. That way when I trim it, I know I'm not going to accidentally cut my towel. So I just kind of fold my towel forward and then I trim all the way around, removing that excess wash away mesh stabilizer. And you can see I leave about 1/4 of an inch just so I don't get too close. And again, all of this excess is going to wash away when you're finished with it, when you throw it in your washing machine. Okay, there we go. So let's step back and take a look at our finished towel. Okay, my towels are complete. So here's the one we made in the video, and this is one I completed earlier. You can see they both look so nice and professional, and I know that my recipient is absolutely going to love these. So make sure that you check out the description box. I will have links to all of the designs that I used in this video, or designs that were mentioned like the cardinal. And then we will also have a link to our Amazon storefront, which has links to lots of these supplies that we use in these tutorials. That way you can find them easily. Also, check out the Designs by JuJu blog for those 2 blog posts. They will also be linked. And make sure that you check out the Designs by JuJu Blessings Facebook group. There is tons of inspiration over there and great ideas for more kitchen towels and other items that you can make. We hope you've enjoyed the tutorial, and we can't wait to see you again. Happy stitching!